Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Oh, welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 556. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host on trade deadline day, Nate.
Good Lord, man. Just trying to keep up.
I mean, there are fake.
The fake ones are.
I just saw MLB on Fox just tweeted out Joe Ryan has been traded to the Red Sox. Seconds later, it gets pulled. What are we doing, man? This trade deadline, hey, you know, props to baseball, props to Major League Baseball. It's been a heck of a trade deadline. I'll give them that. But like at this very moment, we're in crunch time. And I'm getting reports pulled out from underneath me. This is crazy.
You sure it wasn't MLB on Fax?
No, bro, I checked.
Like
when
that?
I see MLB, yes, when I see an MLB on Fox tweet, I triple check to make sure it's not MLB on Fax. This was MLB on Fox. Seconds later, it got pulled. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
but holy
tough.
cow, what a deadline, man. We have so much to talk about and quite honestly, not enough time. We, like I said before we hopped on, we're just flying by the seat of our pants right now. So there's really no direction here. We can just get right into it. Let me start by asking you, because I know you've been, I got to tip my cap to you, my friend. You've been dialed in today. I feel like
I've done well. Yeah.
I've been very impressed. So let me start by asking you, what has really moved the needle most for you today? Or I mean, we can call it the last couple of days, but like, I mean, we'll get into some of the more, we'll call it outdated moves from the last few days, hopefully later. But in terms of today, we'll just say today, what has really moved the needle for you?
I'd say two. Like, I feel like there's two that are really high for me. And to be honest, like this could be outdated in 5 minutes. I don't know. But the one late last night, Gino Suarez to the Mariners was like, look, let's face it. Like, I understand there's been a flurry of deals today, specifically in the last few hours. But like, we can't just overlook that Gino Suarez was the number one power bat on the market. And for what seems to be like this weird stretch over the last few years of the Mariners just not really getting their pitching staff the offensive support that they need, there's glaring holes in their lineup. They've done really, really well. I love that they went and got Josh Naylor earlier in the deadline, and then now it's like you gotta give them some credit for going and getting their guy. And I don't know, maybe there's something about the, sneaking it in on the West Coast late last night. 'Cause I think it was like after midnight last night Eastern time, right? So I like that.
So you're taking my question very literally then, like today.
Yeah, dude. I think that's
I guess that counts.
True. That's
that
true.
Counts.
Count it. I would say that. And then honestly, the Mason Miller deal, I just didn't. I heard that name a few times, and I wonder if the A's were just like, you know what, hearing what these teams are getting for relievers, we got to hop in the mix here. And they did. They said, here we go. Let's get in. And I'm sure they're not done because Severino's got to go, right? And I don't know.
20 minutes.
We could go any direction with this, but those are probably my two favorite deals, specifically for what they mean to those contenders. Because the Padres now, like, that bullpen is no joke.
Dude, so many bullpens were upgraded at this deadline. And to the point where multiple bullpens became instant threats come postseason time almost overnight.
Yeah.
Like you had some bullpens that were doing all right, but really upgraded, like really, bolstered it.
Yeah.
And then you had some that were just like, yeah, this is a massive need for us. We need to make some moves here. And they did. And some of these bullpens are going to give nightmares come October.
Yeah. I mean, what do you want to do? I know we didn't really discuss structure with this. It's probably going to be interrupted by reports in the middle. But like, do you want to kind of run through and just like grade some of these moves and just give it like a quick reaction letter grade?
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. Let's I'm following trade trackers as they're updated because like we said, I mean, stuff's happening. We timed it so that we could get the last trickling trades in, and then maybe on the other side of the deadline for a half hour or so get some moves that
It's always that 10-15 minutes after that
get reported after the fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just looking at the trade tracker here. I mean, you mentioned the Mason Miller deal. Padres acquire Mason Miller and JP Sears from the A's. How do we feel about the Padres once again showing that they're willing to do whatever it takes and to offload whatever it takes to make the moves that they feel, maybe not the rest of baseball, but to make the moves that they feel improve their chances of winning a World Series?
I like it a lot, man. I really do. And I kind of heard the take, I don't remember from who on MLB Network when I was watching it earlier, is like, I think because we all kind of give AJ Preller crap for like just saying, screw it, like I'm going to move any and all prospects every year. But I think you could also look at it in a way, and what this guy was mentioning is like, there's a confidence in their development. There's a confidence in their scouting. Like they're able to go and find these guys. You know what I mean? Like they're finding CJ Abrams. They're finding James Wood. They're finding Mackenzie Gore. They're confident in saying, you know what? Like, I understand we're giving up big prospects, but we can go find it. And let's face it, when you're committed to a Manny Machado, when you're committed to a Xander Bogaerts, the way that you are, financially speaking, your window is now. It can't just be, I'm going to sit back on my hands and hope that the roster I configured at the beginning of the year does what it needs to do. So I got to give him credit for it. And it's just like, I don't know why we're shocked every year. I think I was just more shocked to the fact that like Mason Miller, I didn't think was necessarily available because he was a hard no last year.
Yeah. I think with the Padres being as aggressive as they were, including DeVries in that, it sounded
that's a win-win.
Everything
sure.
I hear, DeVries was gone regardless. He was either going to be, pushed. The envelope was going to be pushed and potentially a move for Duran, a guy that the Padres were very much after, and were probably willing to offer whatever they needed to get a guy with control in Duran. But they ship him out for Mason Miller. So one way or another, I think DeVries was gone. So I mean, I think that's the takeaway. Plus, with obviously that return.
Yeah, and just getting into like what that that bullpen looks like. I mean, Mason Miller, Estrada, Suarez, like there's pieces back there that are going to be a problem. Real quick, and we can move on from the Padres at least. There's only 15-ish minutes left. Do you think Cease gets dealt? Because the Red Sox said no to a Cease deal that is rumored to have had to try and get Duran over to San Diego.
Yeah. The last I saw was that the Astros were looking to close a deal on Cease.
I saw that too. That was a while ago. It was like an hour ago when I saw that rumor.
Unless somebody pivots or panics in the next 15 minutes, I feel like if Cease was going to go, he would have already gone.
Yeah.
I maybe not. I don't know, but you mentioned the Astros. The Astros, in the meantime, went out and got their former shortstop, Carlos Correa. Nate, I know you're going to hate this. I know you're going to hate this, but that low key, and people may disagree, this is actually one of my favorite deals at the deadline. Not going to say my favorite, but oh boy. I mean, come on now. Come on now. The Stros again. We talked to, I mean, let's look at what we're dealing with right now in the American League West. They're currently up 5 games. As we mentioned, the Mariners let the West slip away weeks ago. The Astros have sort of held pat. And I feel like something that maybe they were missing was a little bit of that edge that they once had. And I feel like going to get the guy that was the singular source of that edge only improves their chances of doing what they're hoping to accomplish this year. And that's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. And people can point at how he performed in Minnesota, but something has to be said about a guy like that going back home. I mean, come on.
Fully agree. This gives me, if we weren't in the age of like immediate updates and like getting everything we need right to our phone, or, you know, having access the way we do, like it kind of brings me back to like when Roger Clemens was in the booth saying, and then there's like an announcement on the scoreboard at Yankee Stadium saying and he goes on the mic and he's like, I'm coming back. It kind of feels like it's like when it's all said and done, I could honestly look at Carlos Correa's career and just be like, that was just a blip in the radar when you were in Minnesota. You're going to go in the hall. If you get in the hall, you're going to be wearing an Astros hat. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you get
at the very least, the Astros Hall of Fame. Like, you're gonna be there. You're gonna be
100%.
They're gonna send out an invite the first second that's an option.
100%. So, by the way, we forgot to grade the Mason Miller trade. I'm gonna go B+ on that.
Well, I think if what I was saying earlier was in fact the case about DeVries being gone regardless, like it sounds like they were just kind of like, you know, you get money burning a hole in your pocket. It sounds like DeVries was just burning a hole in their pocket and they're like, we got to give this guy to somebody. And that's what the Padres do. So if they're, you know, fire from the hip mentality,
he's got like what, 4 years left to control?
DeVries?
No. Mason Miller.
Oh, Mason Miller. I was like, DeVries, what are we talking about?
Control 4+? I think it's 4 after this year.
Let's see. He's not a free agent until 2030.
5 years of control, guy.
That's pretty good.
So,
well, four and change.
4+.
Yeah, 4+. Yeah, I'll go B+. I mean, again, DeVries is the sticking point here for a lot of people, but
yeah,
now is your time. Like you gotta go.
I'll go Correa. I'm gonna give a B. I like the move. I think there's some edge there. I'm just curious of like Red Sox are getting Dustin May from the Dodgers. Wow. Stuff is just okay. B on Carlos Correa. I think there's vibes that are involved, but like overall, what kind of performance are we going to get? And the Astros still need to go get a starter. Like they need starting pitching depth. So this can't be the number one move for the Astros. Okay. Dustin
so many
May,
moves, man. I love this.
Live reaction. Dustin May to the Red Sox. Go.
If you would have asked me this before this year, I would have been so amped. A little bit of a pedestrian year, I believe, this year. But you know, rotation depth, got like guys that have, you know, shown you at various times, and maybe for Dustin May infrequent times, what they're capable of doing. I think Dustin May will fit in well. I would like one more sort of front end arm, to supplement that, and then I think that would be quite the deadline for the Sox. But Padres get Nestor Cortez from the Brewers. Sandy Alcantara staying in Miami.
Whack, dude. That's whack.
A lot of L's. L's around baseball right now.
We'll get into some L's because we need to pass out some L's if there's nothing coming in the next 9 minutes for teams.
All right, we mentioned Suarez. I mean, that's
Bailey Falter to the Royals.
there's gonna be so many deals we won't be able to get to just because of
not at all.
our time crunch that we're on. But Phillies acquiring Duran as their new closer.
I'm a little jealous, to be honest. I'm gonna say A minus. Because of the need that the Phillies had. This was the need.
Yep.
They kind of took a half court shot in Jordan Romano in the offseason, and it missed. And that's okay. Like that was a buy low, low risk, high reward scenario, and it didn't work out. But shout out this prediction, by the way, because I was on Beyond the Bank podcast last week, and I said Duran. I actually said Duran and Bader. I don't know if it was on the recording, but when we finished, because it cut off, I was talking to them. I was like, yo, I'm hearing Bader to the Phillies would be kind of a vibe. Like that's a good vibe guy. Doesn't have to play every day, but like has good.
Hold on, you're
experience.
saying Duran was your prediction?
And when I said Bader, they were like, and I was like, what if Duran is in that? What if Johan Duran is involved with that same move? And they were like, well, yeah, let's go with that then. So, but the Phillies end up getting both. So check and check. Off the record, you can text Henry. You can double check on that. Yeah, I know. That would be ideal. Like I said, I was jelly.
I'm gonna need you to stop stealing my grades because that's probably what I would give. That was one of the rather clear needs across all of baseball was to fill it again. Going back to bro, I'm blank. What's his name? Alvarez? No, not Alvarez.
What's up, man?
The closer that got busted.
Oh, Alvarado.
God, why did I say Alvarez? Especially with him being out, you absolutely need to fill that void. Again, for a Phillies team that you can, dare I say, lock into the postseason, and knowing that you're not going to be able to use him during that stretch, you need a closer. You go out and get one of the best available that were on the market
with control.
Let's go. Speaking of closers, let's look at the Yankees move. I'm sort of running down the trade tracker list here. Yankees acquired David Bednar.
Yeah, man. I mean, quick thoughts. Obviously, I can ramble for a while. I didn't feel like they needed a closer necessarily. There are other pieces that they got in the bullpen that we can talk about. But when you look at it, like Luke Weaver and Devin Williams are set to be free agents at the end of the year. So I think it gives them a little bit of flexibility and leverage come this offseason because David Bednar has control. And, in reality, of those three guys, who has the most closing experience? It's David Bednar. I know he had kind of a rough year last year, but he's just coming off like a really long scoreless streak. He looks like he's kind of come back. I think there were rumors of him tipping pitches for a bit. Seems like he's out of that funk. I think it was a good get. I would say there's three potential closers in that bullpen that I don't have like complete confidence in. I don't really know Bednar enough, but I just, based on what I've seen over the last year and a half, I'm like, it comes and goes. So I'll go B+ because it was an obvious need. Their bullpen has been in shambles for like 6 weeks now. So good job.
I'd give it a B. I like the move.
Caballero going to the Yankees. All he's got to do is walk across to the other dugout.
Crazy. I'll give it a B. I like the move, especially since with as well as Bednar has seemingly turned it around. However, I just feel like you're in this weird position right now where you've just got a little, like, would you say too many high leverage arms in the back end now. Not that you can have too many, but I feel like if other guys in the back end turn it around, you're gonna have a log jam. And we've seen that play out with other teams across the league where it's like, okay, we don't have like a guy that we can really, point
you're
to
exactly
and say
right.
That's our guy.
A lot like who was it was Liam Hendricks and Kimbrel,
Craig Kimbrel in the White Sox,
bullpen, where there was like, who's the guy, right? We don't know which one's who. I think with that, Weaver is very open and flexible to doing whatever, and he's been that fireman guy of like, if it's the 6th, if it's the 7th, if it's the 8th, whatever. Devin Williams just doesn't. He's got an ERA over 5 this year, bro. Like that's just not going to get it done. And you got to remember, he was the setup guy when Hader was in town in Milwaukee. So it makes me feel like that should be the setup. I'm curious to see how it goes. It could be just kind of closing by committee until someone really just dominates.
Rangers acquire Merrill Kelly from the D-backs today. It was reported that the Red Sox, I think, were in on him. I think that's who. Did we both have Kelly going to the Sox? I feel like I know I did. I can't remember if you did or not.
I feel like I did too.
Not to be though. Merrill Kelly to the Rangers. I'm very excited to see how this American League West pans out over the next 2 months.
As am I. Because the Rangers have been hot lately. I think when we were doing the predictions a few weeks ago, since then the Rangers have picked it up. They're 7-3 in their last 10. Currently 5 games back, 5 games over 500. They're tied with Seattle for second place in the division, and they currently are tied with the Seattle Mariners for the last spot in the wild card. I did not see them as buyers, but I kind of like it.
This rotation's going to be sick, dude. A healthy DeGrom that's been pitching very well. Nathan Eovaldi, who's also been pitching well. Merrill Kelly, Tyler Mahle, and then to round out the back end, you could take your pick of Patrick Corbin, who
has been good,
has been having a good year, or Jack Leiter, who at any moment in time I feel like could give you a spark.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
fantastic. Good on the Rangers.
I would give that.
And also Kumar Rocker, if you just want to lump him into that.
So I'd give it a B.
I'm gonna go B+.
Fair. I was in between it.
Another American League arm, Shane Bieber to the Blue Jays.
For not that much either.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't see this until 4 hours later because I was caught up with work today.
Yeah.
And then I see the Blue Jays tweeting about Shane Bieber, and I'm like, I heard nothing of this today. And I go and check 4 hours ago from when I saw that he had been acquired by the Blue Jays. Not very much for a Blue Jays team that currently sits 4 games atop, or sits atop the American League East by 4 games. This is, and not to mention Max Scherzer sort of showing signs of life the last few starts, I believe. So what do you think?
I was trying to read up on Bieber of like when he's set to come back.
Wow, the Yankees just got Camilo Doval.
Wow.
See, this is what I'm saying. I mean,
wow.
How many back? Okay. Yeah. How many? How many?
Good.
How many back end guys can you have? How many back end? You have Devin Williams, David Bednar, Luke Weaver, and Camilo Doval. That's Look, I'm not being a hater. I'm genuinely like objectively, I think that's, I mean,
I like it.
I'm sure you have, but all of those guys have closed. This isn't just like, oh, we're acquiring like our 7, 8, 9 guys. Those are all have been or currently are closers. So like what are we doing?
I don't know, man. I like it though. Live reaction. I like it. It feels good. I haven't really paid a ton of attention to him. Let me kind of see what things have been looking like numbers wise. Yeah, man, he's got 15 saves this year.
That's what I'm saying. All 4 of the guys that they have now have been or are currently closers.
I think it's a little bit of a different look. I don't know. We're going to have to see how it pans out. I think it's one thing when you have 2. It's a whole other thing when you have 4 and say, hey, look, boys, you got to buy in because this is how we're rolling it out there. I don't know, man.
Going back to that example of Liam Hendricks and Craig Kimbrell.
That's 2. When can you go back in time and say there's been a scenario of 4?
That's my point. Is I remember the conversations that surrounded that deal, and it was like, we're just gonna have to buy in, and like everybody's gonna have to be a team player here, and it was disastrous, absolutely disastrous. Now you have 4 guys, crazy.
You also have to understand that was done in the offseason, right? White Sox did that before the season. This is kind of like a deadline thing of like, hey, you're immediately going to a contender. Maybe that changes stuff a little bit. We're officially 3 minutes past the deadline, by the way, but still got stuff obviously trickling in. Give me I'm gonna go A- on Camilo Doval. I like that more than Bednar, not necessarily for the fact of him being like a better closer than Bednar. I just like the fact that bullpen needed massive help, and they got massive. They brought in 3 guys. Bednar, Doval, Jake Bird. I'm a huge fan of the Yankees deadline. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, guys.
Yeah, must be nice.
That's a good deadline. And we don't have to speak on it, but like the Jose Caballero thing, like Volpe's been a black hole at shortstop defensively, and Caballero is super athletic, play all the infield positions. Sign me up all day. Charlie Morton to the Tigers.
Charlie Morton to the Tigers. Griffin Jacks to the Rays. Dude, this deadline.
I didn't see the Jacks one.
This deadline was on one. I mean, there's quite literally no way we're going to be able to get to everything. Like I said, we have a hard stop, but
it's my fault. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. Like even if we didn't, there's still no way we'd be able to get to all of these deals because this is insane. Let me go down the list here. Mets bolstering their back end a little bit. Tyler Rogers. They added, who else did they add? Ryan Helsley. I want to credit them. Let me find the tweet here. All right, yeah. So take a pitch on Twitter. Looking at some of we've already touched on it briefly, but looking at some of the arms that the National League acquired, or some of these teams that they acquired. Padres getting Mason Miller. You got Suarez, like you mentioned. The Mets. Reed Garrett.
I know we're on arms right now. We didn't even mention the fact that Ryan O'Hearn going to the Padres too.
Ryan O'Hearn going to the Padres.
It's a good get. Padres had a good, solid deadline.
Rogers, Helsley, Diaz, Phillies. This isn't who they acquired, but just like who they're working with. Yeah. You got Romano, Strom, Duran. Dodgers have Vesia, Scott, Trinan, Stewart. It's going to be very exciting if you're a fan of pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Come time for October.
Yeah, man.
This is
Where do you want to go from here?
Well, let's talk about the Ryan O'Hearn one. You briefly mentioned that Padres get O'Hearn. I think I had him going to San Francisco because I just feel like that fit made sense. But not only did they get O'Hearn, they get Laureano as well from the O's.
Depth, man. This is just straight depth.
I mean, I don't like. Do the Padres understand that like they have a finite amount of roster spots?
I don't think they care.
I feel like in just the moves that we've seen today, it's like where are all these names going to play?
Yeah,
or how are they going to contribute most effectively with this quote unquote depth that we have?
Well, I think what's cool is when you have a team that, and I'm not staring at their roster. Sorry guys, there's a lot going on here, but like with the Padres, you got to assume that they have guys that have options. And when you have a bench or the back half of your roster that has options, and you can send them down and make some moves like this and kind of solidify your bench, this is good. I mean, where does that, has Cronenworth had like any like a decent year at all?
Let's see. 239, 8 homers, 2 swipes, 32 ribbies.
Yeah, this is a good move. And in a pinch can give you some innings in the outfield too. I like it.
Taj Bradley going to the Twins in the Griffin Jax deal.
Interesting. The Rays are interesting to me because they've been scuffling. Haven't they?
3 back, 2 and 8. Yeah, in the last
2 and
10.
8 in the last 10. It's
3 back in the wild card.
Well, I wonder if I feel like that's a good get. I think Griffin Jax was one of the popular names that was tossed out there this deadline. I'm kind of surprised that it's the Rays that get him. But I wonder if maybe the Twins kind of overplayed their hand a little bit and said, "Hey, this is his value," and no one was willing to pay that prospect capital to get him. And then here at the finish line, they're like, "Hey, you know what? Let's just get it done." And Taj Bradley, all right. I mean, no disrespect.
No disrespect. Let's play this game. I like playing this game around the deadline. Where do you want to draw the line for the American League wildcard teams?
As in who's out?
Yeah, the O's, we're pretty much call them dead on arrival. I would say the Twins is probably where you cut off, even though they're 6 games under. They're 5.5 back. I mean, do I believe the Twins are going to be a playoff team by the end of the year or by the end of the regular season? No, but still, like from an objective standpoint, can we say that the Twins are still within reason, like within striking distance? Or are you calling it?
I'm out. I'm calling that, and I'll go one above and say I'm out on the Angels too.
Okay, so
who, by the way, if you want to start grading, nice deadline. What are you doing?
Let's finish this conversation, then maybe we'll switch gears, talk about some L's here real quick. I'm with you. Out on the Twins, out on the Angels, and quite frankly, I'm surprised that the Angels are, at least at this very moment, having a better year than the Twins. Don't know how that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean,
but with that said, that leaves 7 teams outside of the current division leaders fighting for wild card spots.
I think that's a safe place, just because of the fact that like you can see any of these teams going on a rough skid at any point.
Correct.
At any point.
Yeah, right now you've got the Yankees in the top spot, the Red Sox in the second wild card spot. You've got the Mariners and Rangers tied for the third spot, and then outside looking in, you've got the Guardians, Royals, and Rays, who, as we just said, sort of in a buying kind of situation. So,
and they are. It's currently in the bottom of the 8th. They're down 3 to the Yanks. They had a rain delay earlier, so there's a point where, yeah, I mean, they could be 1-9 in their last 10, or 2-8 in their last 10, whatever that was. Anyway, no, it'd be 1-9 in their last 10. Yeah.
let's talk about some L's. I saw people saying, what's that look?
I was just reading this tweet. Astros are done. It's basically saying that they got some good pieces. The Dylan Cease conversations were serious, just never got over the finish line.
Ty France and Louis Varland have been traded to the Blue Jays. Doesn't particularly move the needle for me, but in terms of what I was saying about the L's, I saw Luis Roberts still being on the White Sox was a point of contention for a lot of people. And I have to say, I would call it an L on behalf of the White Sox for the return that I saw was reported that they were hoping for. A major league ready player, and then I think 2 top 100 prospects or something. I don't remember what it said. That's insane.
Why are you holding on to needing a big league ready player? You're not ready to compete anytime soon. Why is that so important? I don't see why that matters. But I mean, you go back a few weeks ago, I kind of felt like, what's the point of selling Luis Robert? He's having a down year. Like, why would you sell low? He's still under control. He's still in this contract. It's like, just try again next year. Maybe he gets hot and maybe you move him, but don't wait too long if you're the White Sox. If he's having great numbers and it's May, move him. Don't let things slide and get to this point in the deadline where you could lose leverage again. So I wouldn't give them a full L. It's
that's
little
what
bit
I'm
of an
saying.
L, but
that's what I'm saying. I give them an L from the point of view of what they were asking for, but in terms of not panicking and just trying to offload them and instead keeping them around to, like you said, try again, in the offseason or next year, I'm fine with that. Like there's no sense, but you're going to have to adjust your expectations if this level of performance continues. Another L, I've been reading about the fact that Marcell Ozuna is still with the Braves.
Braves have a fat L. This is a fat L.
I don't know, man. I don't understand. There's certain personnel situations around the league that you look at and you're like, maybe there's more to what's going on behind closed doors. Because like I always say, as fans, we don't have the luxury of hearing, every conversation that happens on trade deadline day.
Yeah.
That's obvious. However, there are certain personnel scenarios and situations where I feel like are pretty common sense. And I feel like offloading Marcell Ozuna was one of those.
I think that, and I also think because of their catching scenario. Like Drake Baldwin looks legit.
Yeah, Sean Murphy, I think.
I feel like Sean Murphy needed to get moved.
The Red Sox, I think, were sniffing around that slightly. So the fact that he's still there, or at least as of this moment, he's still there. Who's to say what'll come in the next few minutes? But the Royals acquiring Mike Yastrzemski from the Giants.
Whoa.
Friend of the pod, Mike Yastrzemski. Wow.
The Royals are weird, man. It's weird,
dude, what is happening?
They've been hot. They were inside that that 7-team spread that we
You're
gave.
right. Hey, you're right. Hey, you know what? Let's go Royals.
Let's go Royals a little bit.
You know, we talk all the time about like why don't, and I remember having this conversation last year. Wasn't it last year that we said the same thing for the Angels, or was that the year before, where we're like, this makes no sense, but the fact that you're like you're committing to a direction is commendable, I guess. Like even though it may be the wrong one and it ended up being the wrong decision to ultimately go for it.
At least you're doing stuff.
Oh, no, you know what it was? It was the last year they had Shohei, wasn't it? Where they kept Shohei and people were like, what's going on? Do you remember this conversation we had?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. That's sort of a similar
I think
situation.
I was kind of in the camp of the Angels needing to sell
at
that point. But
yeah,
imagine the haul you would have gotten back. Whatever.
Yeah. But anyway, the Royals, slightly similar situation, but also slightly different because I feel like the Royals are much better suited to actually commit and actually make a legitimate run
if they're in the NL, then we're not having this conversation. But the fact that they're in the AL, and this year specifically with the AL, I'm a fan. So back to the L's. Who else gets an L? Who are we dishing it out to?
Trying to think, was there anybody? How about the O's? Trying to think. Anybody we're missing?
So Seti Mullins got dealt.
Yeah.
To the Mets.
Which, how do we feel about that while we're on the topic?
I give it a C+. I think the Mets needed a center fielder, clearly, and dude's a vet. Dude's a solid vet. We're going to give you tough ABs and play good defense. He's not really going to mess up that often. I think you got what you needed.
Who, again, forgive me, I'm trying to keep track of all these moves. Did or did not the Phillies acquire the outfielder that they were looking for? Am I forgetting a move that happened? Harrison Bader. That's right.
I think it was just Bader and Duran.
We talked about that. That's right. Okay. Yeah, because the only reason I was asking, because I remember Cedric Mullins being a potential target for the Phillies as well.
Yeah. And look, I mean, like, for what, again, just touching on that, for what Bader brings to the table, like he doesn't need to play every day, but he's going to give you outstanding defense. So, yeah.
Speaking of outstanding defense, we haven't even mentioned this name yet. Ke'Bryan Hayes going to the Reds. How do we feel about the Reds? Can we just talk a minute about the Reds right now? 3 games out of a wild card spot. 5 games over 500.
Didn't they sell an arm too?
They got, didn't they get Zach Littell?
They bought an arm. They got Zach Littell.
Yeah.
Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Did they sell an arm?
Maybe they didn't. I think that's it. Those 2 moves.
Yeah, that's the one. Those are the 2, I should say.
I like the Ke'Bryan Hayes move. I mean, you kind of got him for pretty cheap. You got him for control. It's obviously excellent defense. Maybe a change of scenery helps the offense. Ke'Bryan Hayes won it out. But I don't know. I don't want to burn more time on it, to be honest. I'll go C+.
Yeah, our grades have been spotty. We've been just moving at speed of light, so I think we've missed a few grades. But yeah, I'm not wild about Ke'Bryan Hayes from a full package point of view. Again, we know what this guy's what tool he best brings to the table. It's no mystery. But what was it that I said yesterday? Like a 650 OPS guy?
Yeah. I think he's really only had like 3/4 of a good season offensively.
I mean, I hear you. Those of you trying to, talk about the quality of defense, but at what cost? Truly, at what cost? I mean, I'm with you. I don't want to spend any more time on it, but
Yeah.
that's why I'm sort of, 1 foot in, 1 foot out on this deal. I'm like, I don't know. The
Joe Ryan stays with the Twins in case that was in doubt.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that.
20 minutes later.
Just trying to see here. What did we miss? We talked O'Hearn, Helsley, Bednar, Kelly, Suarez, Correa, Mason Miller. Adrian Hauser, I think, happened right at the buzzer.
Where did he go again?
He is going to... It was a flurry. It was one of a flurry of like 3 or 4 moves. So I'm forgive me. Adrian Hauser. Rays have acquired Adrian Hauser.
Okay. Good deal. The Rays are just in a weird spot. I think I don't know. I'm not sure offhand of how much control him and Jax have. So maybe it's one of those things where like it was out there for the taking. Even though we haven't had a good few weeks, it's out there for the taking. We can always run it back next year. That's maybe the thought process, I guess. C.
What else? Did we go into much depth about the Correa thing? I talked about why I liked it, but I think we covered that. We talked Suarez.
Let's talk else. I mean, let's be real. The Red Sox, I can argue putting in the L camp, just based on what they've dealt with in a logjam in the outfield. They had needs, and I mean, no disrespect, but I think Dustin May's good, probably a lot of upside.
Well, this blends perfectly. I'm glad you brought up the Red Sox because I was going to bring up, do we feel like the Diamondbacks offloaded enough? What I was going to say is, the Red Sox being tied to Kelly, being tied potentially to Gallen as well. And I think even in the mix for Suarez, although I think that faded away within the last few days, because I think it came down to like 3 or 4 teams as of yesterday or like 2 days ago for Suarez. So I don't think they were in that. But it's weird, man, because like with the Red Sox, if there wasn't a trade deadline this year, just like in a hypothetical situation, hey, there's no trade deadline. You're just going to have to go with what you got. With the way things are going right now, honestly, I'm fine. But it's when you get teased, like Joe Ryan potentially, Merrill Kelly, Zach Gallen, other names around the league, Sandy Alcantara. Like you start hearing these things, and then when you end up with Dustin May and Steven Matz, it's like
I forgot about Steven Matz,
who's having a good year, and
it's an inning eater.
Depending upon what role they want to use with him, because he's been out of the pen this year. But if they want to, stretch him out for spot starts or even put him on the back end for these last couple of months, I guess we'll see. But if that's what you end up with, it's like, I wish you just wouldn't have even bothered and just told me that you weren't going to do anything, and I could have just put my blinders on, and we just could have kept things going, because you just came off a series win against the Twins, 2 straight series wins after dropping the first 2 series after the break. So sort of riding the ship there.
But I think specifically when you look at like the teams around them that they're competing with, I feel like the Yankees got better. I feel like the Mariners got better. I feel like the Rangers got better. So it's like
the Jays, Jays got better.
Yeah.
Who let's not like ignore the fact that this is still a 3-team race in the division. For the East, and
for the Blue Jays, look, like I can't. They've been hot. I think at one point it was like 21 out of the last 25 games they've won. Like it's some crazy stretch like that. It's not sustainable. I think they had a better deadline, but like either way, back to the Red Sox. I feel like the teams that you're definitely competing with took 2 steps forward, maybe 3 steps forward today, and the Red Sox maybe took a half a step. So I'm going to pass them an L. I'm going to give them an L.
I'm going to give them an L, but I'm going to give them like an L light because again, I know I said what I just said about like, you know, you get teased with some of these names and then you end up with Steven Matz and Dustin May. However, if this was a decision, and I don't want to be gaslit, so like I'm not even really interested in what Craig Breslow has to say.
Yeah.
After the fact, but behind closed doors, if the situation was like, hey, we're willing to give you X or Y or Z, but we want Jarren Duran, and the Red Sox didn't feel like that was an adequate return, then I'm fine with having not made those moves.
No, I hear you. I think it's just the fact that the logjam is still there, and I think I don't know. I think they're in good shape, and I thought they would have been in better shape if they made a better move. But touching on the Diamondbacks real quick, and then we got to get back to the Mets because they upgraded their bullpen significantly, and that's a big move we can't ignore. But with the Diamondbacks, it makes me wonder if like you didn't get any offers that you wanted for Gallen because of how bad he's been this year. And at the same time, I think if that's the case, if you're the Diamondbacks, maybe you're one of the few teams that says, hey, we'll take a shot. We'll take a shot this offseason. We'll bring you back. We'll run it back, see if it goes well. And like, maybe that's the move for them. Kind of thought that Gurriel might have gotten moved, but I don't know. I mean, the Diamondbacks didn't need to do a ton. They just underperformed this year. I think they're still really good. I think they have a really good roster. It's just a bad year. But yeah, Mets, Ryan Helsley,
who I mentioned earlier, but we didn't really talk in depth about.
I think I was tuned out.
Thanks.
B plus. It would be an A if his numbers were a little bit better, but I feel like it's kind of been like trending down the last few years. I think a lot of his numbers have been trending down. Strikeout percentage has been trending down.
21 saves on the year.
I think this year's been better. Obviously.
3 ERA. Let's look at what's the Savant looking like right now. All right. Decent amount of red. Chase percentage, whiff percentage, K percentage, all looking pretty good, especially the chase percentage.
I think it's a great move though.
He's walking at a higher clip than he would like.
But again,
yeah, it's a good move. And again, this is one of those moves that
this
supplements
creates some interesting things in the bullpen, by the way, with those two closers.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is it supplements a bullpen that I think will create nightmares in October. One of many, I think, are gearing up to do that very thing this October.
Yeah. Yeah. And that could kind of be a part of this conversation. You know what I mean? I understand about the adrenaline of having multiple closers in your bullpen and like, what if you take him out of that role? How does he do in a different role? I get that. I definitely get that conversation. But when you're talking about being in the postseason, I don't think there's any lack of adrenaline. I don't think there's any, you know what I mean? And when you have potential stretches where you got to get through a wild card round to be able to advance, maybe you need another guy that can close games down, and you can't expect a guy to be available, pretty much every day for a month straight. It's just not feasible. So I think the Mets did a really good job. Let's not forget the Gregory Soto move that happened last week too. Like I think they had a good deadline. I'm going to give the Mets credit. I thought they should have added to their rotation, but I'll give them a good deadline.
Which just reminded me I had Severino going back to the Mets, and last I checked, Severino was staying put.
I feel bad for him. I feel like he kind of aired out all of his
all
of his grievances and then didn't get moved. Kind of awkward.
Yeah, I mean, if that sucks for him. With some of the other arms that got moved around, I just wonder why Severino wasn't one of them. Yeah. I can't imagine him airing those grievances being like a detractor for him, because I feel like if you're anybody that's like a rationally minded baseball person, you look at that situation and go, makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're playing, like, look at where he's playing and look at the splits. Like it all adds up.
I thought the Mets made a lot of sense. I thought that would have been a really good fit.
Did you give your thoughts on the what's his face, Nestor Cortez move?
I haven't really paid attention to how he's done this year. How's it been? Do you know?
I don't. Who did I even say? That was one of the other names I think that was in the flurry of moves last minute.
Oh, he's been out a while.
Oh, going to the Padres. That's right.
He's on the 60-day IL. Set to return in August. He's only made 2 starts this year. Side note, I don't know if maybe it's just a little brain fart action, but like kind of forgot guys on the IL could get moved.
Yeah.
I don't know. Pass out any other L's. How do you feel about the Guardians? How do you feel about Cleveland? This was a weird one because we had some big names floated that ended up not getting moved for different reasons.
Dude, I think I think the Guardians have bigger fish to fry right now. As crazy as it sounds, like I think they're in the middle of something where they probably didn't have 100% focus attributed to this deadline, and this was all because of what, obviously what happened with the scandal and everything.
Yeah, I
think they've just got too much going on, and at the end of the day, I'm glad that we can finally sort of put a bow on the Bieber. I won't call it a saga, but he's been floated out there for some time now, and it's like, okay, when is Bieber going to eventually, end up in another uniform? So I'm glad to see that's finally the case. Not that I wanted him to. I don't know. It's weird. Like I wanted Shane Bieber to stay a Guardian, but it's like if you're going to continually float him out there, it's like, okay, just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Or just say that like this is our guy. He's going to be the Kershaw kind of guy, just wearing the same uniform. Whatever. But
yeah, I didn't think they needed to move Quan. I think Class A just kind of really put him in a bind with everything.
The Quan things, did that sort of fall from the clouds? I feel like I don't know if I had heard too much noise on that. And then what was it, yesterday, the day before? Like, teams are sniffing around on what it would take to get Quan. I'm like,
strange.
For what?
Strange.
I don't know. But yeah, not like a huge, I don't think too big of an L needs to be handed out for the Guardians, but I feel like they kind of, they did the best they could given the circumstances.
Shelby Miller and Jordan Montgomery traded to the Brewers. I don't know. I don't got time for this.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? Jesus Sanchez going to the Astros. I mean, that
one was earlier. I didn't hate that move. They needed some outfield depth and still a change of scenery. Dude's got crazy pop. Maybe you can put it together there.
Dodgers acquired Alex Call from the Nationals. A lot of
I don't even know who that is.
No disrespect. Well, the only reason I know of him is because I've been to Nationals games this year and like lightly followed the personnel that they have, anticipating that they would be selling at the deadline. But yeah, a lot of lower tier moves. No disrespect. To supplement all these ones that we've talked about thus far, but. I think we've arrived at our stopping point.
Yeah, and I think we'll have a good time. Kind of seeing what these next few days look like, getting a look at these guys in new uniforms and seeing what roles they hop into. It's going to be fun. I think that's what makes the trade deadline. We own the trade deadline, by the way, as well as the All-Star game. We own both in all sports. So suck on that. And it's going to be cool to see.
I don't know. Isn't NBA's trade deadline period like kind of insane?
Their stuff is just because it's like right after and they have like a weird window. Ours is cool because it's cool. How's that for analysis?
Well said.
Yeah. All right. I got to roll.
All right. Apologies if we missed any, major moves, but I think we touched on the majority of the real needle movers, if you will. But we were in sort of a time crunch here. But glad to get a little bit of pre-deadline convo and a little bit of post-deadline convo here. So as Nate said, we'll be anxiously waiting to see how some of these.
Maybe next year we just take the whole day off from work. What do you think?
Maybe we meet up and just stream it.
I like it.
But yeah, we'll be waiting to see how some of these moves play out. New faces and new places. But other than that, that's all I really got. Had to sneak one in. It's the end of the week pod. So
yeah,
unless you got anything else, we can get out of here.
I'll go chasing curveballs.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.